Good afternoon. My name is Donna Thiesel, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge Talk Show, where truth matters. Thank you so much for watching every day, Monday through Friday on IC Radio Station. That's icradio.media. You can also find us on television, channel 182 on Charter Communications, and we're syndicated on Abundance Television, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. Don't forget the podcast, thenewscasters.com. By the way, if you have any ideas for particular shows you would like for me to handle some research for you, I love research. That's where I live and that's where I breathe. You can send an email to Donna at donnasedge.com. That's Donna at donnasedge.com. Today we're going to talk about foraging and why it's so important you know how to identify plants. Could be the matter of life and death. Mushrooms are good. I love mushrooms in salads and in soups and all kinds of recipes. But if you forage and you get the wrong mushroom, it could prove deadly. Let's look at a quick video. And I did this outside on the farm, and we're identifying plants using an app called Picture This. We'll talk about it in just a few minutes. Get a little bit more in detail.
Okay, so I have an app I like to use on my cell phone, and it's called Picture This. Now you have to pay for it, and what I've done is I've paid for like a lifetime membership of it, and it's called Picture This. So this is something I used just a few minutes ago about the moms. So let me show you how this thing works. Okay, I'm going to click New right there. Okay, I'm going to go on. It needs to be very colorful. I don't know if you can see because of the sunlight right now, but I'll go ahead and click right there. And what it does is it shows you what it is. It shows you the identity of it. Like this says it's a garden mom. It's also known as Florist Daisy, hardy garden mom. And it tells you, if the plant looks healthy or not. So it tells me that it does look healthy. Another thing I can do is save it to the garden. Now, this is what I look for because I make teas out of flowers, and they're good for you. This is what people did foraging years and years and years ago. Our ancestors, our Indians, that's what they did. So this tells me that it's non-toxic to humans. It's not reported as a weed. Not reported as invasive. So if you find something at a friend's house and you think it's a pretty flower and you don't want anything invasive, you need to know that. Okay, this tells me that the lifespan of this is a perennial annual. Planting time, you want to plant these things in the spring. It tells you the picture height, the plant height, 6 to 35 inches, and the spread would be 1 to 2 feet. It also gives you the leaf color, what it can look like, and it also tells you where it came from. So this says this garden mom is a Chinese native that has been cultivated as a, you can use this thing for all kinds of health reasons. You can also decorate with it. Over 2,000 years ago, it's the gardening and florist favorite all over the world. Most commonly called a mom. This tells you where it's native and where it's cultivated. You need to know whether plants that you put out into your garden are native to the area or not. Now you can plant a non-native plant, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to grow and produce flower or fruit. All right, let's walk over to some roses. I'll come out this area. And of course we see the moms, they're still, I'm trying to get some of this stuff done before the frost hits, and we're expecting a frost to come up pretty soon. Now, and man, I picked a bunch of these roses for the rose tea, but here's one. So let's go ahead and put the camera in place, and I'm going to use the Picture This, and I'm going to call a new one. So let's go ahead and put it right over that rose. Okay, there we go. All right, and see it's doing its thing right now. So this tells me that this is a China rose. Okay, also known as a garden rose, and it tells me the plant looks healthy. Oh, and by the way, I can save it to my garden. I'm using one hand. And there's a little video right here also that you can see. Habitat tells you it's native, it's exotic, it's cultivated. We've got it cultivated right here in this area. Came from China. Also, let's see, difficulty. It shows, it says it's hard, but this is not really a hard one. Not suitable for beginners. Tells temperature it can take -4 to 109 degrees. We need to know that because in Alabama we can have all 4 seasons at the same time. Hardiness zone is going to be from 5 to 11. Okay, now let's walk around the yard. We got more flowers. I still have tomatoes. So let's just go ahead and take a look at these tomatoes. Okay, so what I'm going to do, let's go ahead and click it again. I'm going to click New. And let's take a little picture of it. What kind of tomato is that? Now I'm going to have to do something with these tomatoes. When we get that frost, that's going to be something. So it tells me that it's a garden tomato known as Sun Gold, Chocolate Cherry, Black Russian, Beef Master. And these are seeds that I had saved a long time ago. It says it looks healthy. Now, let's find something that may not be healthy. Let's see. Let's look at this. I'm saving these right here to seeds. So let's take a look at this one. Okay, let's go on ahead, and it doesn't look healthy, but let's just see what it says. Let's do a new. All right, and I'm going to take a picture of this, and let's just see what it tells me. Okay, it's a sulfur comus. Actually it says it looks sick. Okay, so this is really cool. Now all I'm doing, I want the seeds to this, okay, because I'm going to have a bunch of these things planted out this coming spring. So it tells me it looks sick. And so what you can do is check for solutions. Right here, plant dried up. It's dried up, suggesting it's dormant or dead. Well, it's dormant. So, and it tells you what you can do. So what I'll be doing, I'll collect these. I'm going to put these in the greenhouse, and we'll see what happens. All right, now let's go on ahead and you know, a lot of folks actually lost their rosemaries last year. Remember that? Thank God for propagation. All right, let's go on ahead and look. I have some in the greenhouse also. So let's go on ahead and just take a look. I'm going to take a picture, and it's called Picture This. It tells you it's rosemary. It's a species of the sages. And I'm going to tell you what, I love cooking with it. I like making oils with it. I like doing everything with rosemary. And it tells me the plant looks healthy. I'm glad they think it does. It's not reported as a weed, and it's a shrub plant. Now, the lifespan, it is a perennial. Planting time is going to be mid-spring, late spring, early summer, fall, early winter. So let me tell you the neat thing about this app. It's going to want to know where you live. Okay, so I put here I'm in North Alabama, but it's also specific to your town. So if I'm out at a friend's house and my friend has some pretty flowers and I'd like to have one, I can take this with me if I don't know what kind it is, or if I'm just outside foraging, which I'm going to be doing a lot of. So let's just say I'm outside foraging and I want something, you know, just from a pine tree. I want to know whether it's something I could eat or not. Okay, let's see. It tells you the habitat. Did you know that rosemary is actually part of the mint family and the sage family? So difficulty, maintenance is really low unless you have a huge frost like we had last year and a lot of folks lost their plants. Propagation, all you got to do is cut it. You can prune it late spring, early summer. And it tells you common issues for rosemaries. And again, this is going to be specific for your family and for where you live. Okay, and this is where I can share it. I can go ahead and share this with a friend and let them know what rosemary is all about. Thanks for watching. I just thought this might be an interesting video for everybody. I love the app. Got it through Brian Brown, who's with the Extension Office. And so anyway, this is just a fun app to have.
Okay, so let's talk about this for a few minutes. And it's really important to know what you're foraging. You're going to go out into the nature and the wild woods and see if you can survive off the land. Again, it's extremely important. So let's talk about this, the guide to identifying plants, before we go into a commercial break. I found this on eattheplanet.org. eattheplanet.org. It's a good website, just chock full of great information out there. So knowing how to identify plants is one of the most critical steps involved in learning how to forage. It's an important skill that will keep you safe, but it can also help you connect a little bit more with nature. Being able to wander through a forest or a woodland and identify wild edibles is an incredibly enriching skill. However, there are steps that everyone, even the expert forager, has learned to be able to do this safely. So let's start with number one. Choose a plant to focus on. Okay, so instead of setting out to create a salad full of wild weeds or wild pesto, set a goal to find and identify just one plant to begin with. Don't get overwhelmed, okay? If you're like me, I like to just go all out and do stuff, but there are times you need to plan. Now, whether you choose a weed that grows at the edge of your lawn or something that just keeps popping up in your vegetable garden, choose a plant that you can easily find and then practice identifying it with the following steps. By focusing on the one plant, that will give your full attention to one single species. This will also give you time to identify it correctly without getting mixed up. I mean, it's easy to do. You get overwhelmed and wait a minute, was that a good plant or was that the good plant? And then you got to start all over again. So this is called time management. So ultimately, you may discover that the plant you have found is not edible. But by following those identification steps, you begin to develop your identification skills and confidence. Now, who would have thought dandelion plants, dandelion flowers would be edible? They are absolutely fantastic in a salad. And another thing they're good for is also if you would like to have dandelion tea. You've heard of dandelion wine, that kind of thing, but dandelion tea is great and it's so good for you. Okay, so let's learn about this. Okay, so learn at least 3 unique identification features. Now, whether it's a leaf shape, I'm keeping up with the time for you, whether it's a leaf shape, range, or seed shape, begin to familiarize yourself with the different characteristics and the botany terms that are used to identify wild edibles. By researching these different characteristics, you'll be able to find more easily identify what makes the plant unique compared to other similar looking plants. That's where I can get mixed up. So I'll say something that looks like it could be an onion. Is it a wild onion? Is it something I can eat? That's why I love this app called Picture This. And before I go into a break, I just want to show you something real good. You can also, and they're not paying me to say this, none of that stuff. I think it's probably it's less than $50, I know, for a year. I got the lifetime for $50. And because I garden and I'm always out there. But anyway, you want to know whether you need to mulch it, how to keep pesky weeds at bay. And also, I'm always interested in attracting bees and birds and that kind of thing. If it's something that's going to attract birds, I may not want to plant it in my garden area if it's a flower, okay? Because I don't want the birds finding that flower going crazy, then, disrupting my garden as well. Now, you can also save. So I can go I'm at the app and I'm going to home. Now at the very bottom of this particular app, you'll see home, diagnose, my plants, and many more things. But let's just go to my plants. So here is my English lavender right here, okay? And I did go ahead and take a picture of that, and I'm going to pull it up. I want to know whether I need to prune it now. I want to know the conditions because in Alabama, 4 seasons in one day, we have experienced that. So this lavender I have can take temperatures. It's called English lavender. And I make teas out of it and all kinds of things with lavender. So I'm also propagating. I have 125 lavender plants propagating right now in my greenhouse. I can hardly wait for spring. We're not even in winter yet, and I'm already begging for spring to be here. So I want to know what the water calculator is. I want to know what temperatures it's in. It can take -4 to 100 degrees, and it'll be okay. Needs full sun. Also, I want to know how difficult this plant is. So if I'm a beginner gardener, I don't want something that's complicated. I need to start out with the basics. and then grow from there. That way you're not going to. A lot of folks give up on gardening because they start out with the hardest plant. Don't do that. Get the easy ones. And then move up, graduate on up to other plants. This tells you after blooming, what could cause it. Wilting after blooming. Flower wilting, if you're underwatering it. Aged yellow and dry, if the plant gets dried up. Brown spot on it. You'll find everything you need to if you are a new gardener. I love it. Now I'm looking at the plant info, and it shows it's exactly like my lavender out there. Whether it's toxic or not, pets can't eat it, but we can. But pets can't. It's good in a salad. It's not reported as a weed. It's not reported as invasive. That's why I'm propagating 120 of them. It's an herb. It's a shrub. It's kind of woody-like. It is a perennial. Planting time is mid-spring, late spring, early summer, fall, or early winter. So you got plenty of time. It tells you what the plant height is. That's 1.6 to 7 feet. Also, it's going to tell you the leaf color, the description. There's even a video on it. It gives you the history of it and how it's been used throughout the years. And so this is it's a good app. I encourage you to get it. Let's go into a commercial break. I'm a little bit late on it, but let's go into a commercial break. We'll be right back in just a few minutes, and we're going to find out why we need to know about plants if you're foraging. At Lamone's Mexican Restaurant, located in Henniger, Alabama, and voted Best Mexican Restaurant of DeKalb County, Alabama 2020, we're here to serve you with authentic Mexican cuisine. Order easily online by going to lamonsmex.com or call 256-657-3999 to place your order. We're open Sunday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Friday and Saturday, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Whether you're celebrating a cozy date night for two or a celebration for a crowd, at Lamone's you'll love our atmosphere and friendly servers. Thank you for dining with Lamone's Mexican Restaurant.
Are you ready?
We all wonder what tomorrow will bring. But the future lays itself at the feet of the prepared and surrenders to the will of the persistent. It's not easy, but today shapes you so you can shape tomorrow. With Northeast Alabama Community College, when the future asks if you're ready, you can answer.
Yes.
Begin your future at Northeast Alabama Community College.
At Liberty Bank, we're all about community, whether it's to help with a charity fundraiser or help families in need. Toys at Christmas or a local football team, we're here for you. You see, we realize the importance of family. Sometimes it's to build a new home or necessary home repairs. We're here for you. If you like the feel of a small town bank with all the conveniences of a big city bank, we're here to serve you. You will find us at any of our convenient locations in DeKalb, Marshall, Etowah, and Blount counties in North Alabama. You can call and speak with any of our friendly staff at 256-659-2175 or check us out on the web at libertybankal.com. And thank you for your support of our community. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender. Jeff McCurdy of the McCurdy Law Firm has been a public service of this area for over 10 years. McCurdy, a member of the Henniger City Council, serves as prosecutor for the town of Sylvania and was named public defender for the city of Rainsville. The McCurdy Law Firm is located at 17326 Alabama Highway 75 in Henniger to better represent his Jackson and DeKalb County clients. If you need to be represented by a true public servant with proven success, call Jeff at 256-996-8701 or send a private email to mccurdylawfirm@gmail.com. No representation is made that the legal services performed is greater than the legal services performed by other lawyers.
My Towels solved the problem that we've all had with towels. You go into the stores and they feel lotiony and soft, but then you get them home and they wind dry you. That's why I made My Towels. They actually work, they're soft, and they absorb. And now I'm excited to announce 2 brand new lines of My Towels. What makes them the best towels ever is they're now made with 100% long staple Shapir cotton. This is a combed ring spun cotton that makes My Towels even softer and more absorbent than ever. And now you get a 6-piece set for an amazing introductory sale price as low as $29.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to get My Towels for only $29.98. Or you can get my designer premium line for just $20 more. Either way, you save 50% now on all My Towels. They actually work. What a concept. This offer won't last long, so please order now.
mypillow.com.
Okay, we are back. My name is Donna, and I am your host of Donna's Edge Talk Show, where truth matters. We're out there to get all kinds of information to you. You can find us on television channel 182 on Charter Communications, Abundance Television, which is found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. You can also find us on syndicated Abundant and also on the newscasters.com. That's where we have the podcast. You can find us on icradio.media as well. Okay, we're talking about foraging. Why is it so important to know the plant and the plant life, why it's there? Can I eat it or not? Oh, it's extremely important to know whether you can eat this plant or not. Okay, so we were talking a little bit about start out small. Go out in the woods, find 1, maybe 3 plants. Take notes, okay? I would definitely tell you to go ahead and download this app, Picture This. And that's going to save you a lot of time there as well. Okay, you need to know the leaf shape and the arrangement. Is it oval? Is it shaped like a spear? Is it lobed, or how is it arranged? What are some of the scientific names used for different leaf shapes? You need to know that. It's like a snake. So if you see a snake, now also Phil says if he sees a snake, they're all dead snakes. But there are some snakes that are actually beneficial to our garden and get rid of pests. If he has a pointed head, run from it, okay? So that's why it's so important to know the shapes. So let's get a little bit more about this. Okay, so I understand the reproductive cycle. When does it flower? You need to know that. That's really important to know when you're pruning. And also if you're planning on, like my fig trees are no longer producing, okay? So now's the perfect time to go ahead and cut some of those figs off, some of the stems. You need to know where and how long, and so I can go ahead and root. I'm planning on rooting 4 more for this coming winter or for this coming spring. So what I found out about fig trees is they only have a production life of about 15 years. And I'm surprised we've been getting figs because these were planted way before my grandmother passed away, which was in the year 2001. So it's extremely important we know these things. The figs didn't produce that good this year. Well, it's because they got some age on them. And so I want to propagate because I love these figs. They're good and they're sweet and they're just, they're really good if you'd like to get them and dry them. Really good in that. And then just nutritious, so good for you to eat. And Phil likes fig Newtons, so that's another reason we have them. I like them for breakfast. They're really good. So anyway, it was important to know that you do not cut the stems for propagating and for growing roots until after they've bloomed, until after they've fruited. So those things are extremely important. Now, understanding that reproductive cycle, that's why. When does it flower? What do the seeds, the fruits, and the cones look like? Can it really be useful? Can this really be useful in distinguishing shapes and features? Yeah. Okay, you also need to know the hardiness zone. If it's a lavender, where does it like to grow? I lucked out here because we have sandy soil right here where I live in North Alabama, and lavender loves it. And also, it can tolerate when we're not having a lot of rain. You don't want too much rain, and it needs to be in a well-drained place. So we need to know all these things: the range, and can it be found in the Midwest Plains or the Appalachian Mountains, which is where we are. Also, habitat. Does the plant prefer a sunny spot, or does it favor kind of a shady like forest area? Structure, pay attention to the stalk, shape, and color or general height of the plant. And this is important too because you want to have a garden, especially if you're going to have a big, pretty flower garden. In the back, you want some plants do good facing the south. Now, if that's the rule of thumb, you need to have your taller plants in the back, okay? And then you want to graduate to the shorter plants facing the sun, because if you don't do that, not everybody's going to get full share of the sun, and you'll have some plants that are just not going to make it, you know, if they've got to have full sun. So again, when we planted our garden and Phil made my concrete garden for me, it was important that the taller plants, and I wanted to have cucumbers growing up on wire, and so it was important to have those growing in the back, and then wanted to graduate beans, all those things were at the back, and then my shorter plants moved out to the front, like peppers and stuff like that, because they needed to face the south, okay, where that sun is coming up in the morning. Okay, let's see. You can use books to find these things out. You can get the app, which is the easiest thing to do. Picture it. By the way, make sure you have good cell phone service if you're going out in the woods to forage, okay, if you're going to use this app. That's important as well. Okay, are there any lookalikes? Yeah, there are basically some lookalikes, and this is a critical step when foraging and you're researching if there are any toxic lookalike plants you wish to forage. And I'm going to use different, I'll give you an instance in just a minute, but check the plant guides and articles for notes about similar looking plants that, again, that could be toxic. Now, sometimes a lookalike plant can belong to the same family, and they may be edible too. Okay, so again, it's extremely important you know about lookalikes. Like your mushrooms. I mean, that's a big one right there. Some mushrooms, yes, some no. Okay, you got to know. Okay, all right. Your identification now. After focusing on a plant, checking for lookalikes, and analyzing the plant's characteristics, you could be well on your way to deciding if you can confirm your identification. However, to gain extra confidence in your conclusion, you could contact a plant expert. Everybody in the wonderful country of the United States all has a county extension service, and that's what they're there for. They're to help you to distinguish plants. Are they edible or not? How to count them, how to dry them, all those techniques you can find, and it's all free to you, okay? Your taxes pay for that. So it's the county extension office, and you need to be good friends with them. Okay, keep in mind that sometimes advice from other foragers online may not be correct. Okay, there are some that I know are not correct, so be really careful there, especially if they're trying to help you identify a plant with a few of the out of focus photos. You know, you're not getting a good idea on that. It's also important to note that the responsibility to correctly identify a plant remains with you, the forager. So if you do seek outside help from other sites, make sure, again, double check, and I would check with the county extension office. Okay, number 5, you need to keep good notes. You need to log your findings. Have a notebook that's specifically for your foraging. That's what I do. Okay, guys, thank you so much for watching. It's so good to be with you today. My name is Donna, and I am your host of Donna's Edge Talk Show, where truth does matter. I do encourage you, it's going to cost you $50 or so for a lifetime membership for Picture This, PICTURETHIS, but it's a great way to save you several steps, and it's going to really help you identify plants. And if you want to eat some of them and live off the land, you got to have it. I'll talk to you later. Again, thanks for watching.